Hello everybody, here we are, and it's time to just simply continue with this Prometheus. And apart from Prometheus, we will try to run VS Code inside a container, and we will try to export some ports so that using those ports, on those ports, we are actually able to access VS Code on a browser. So we will try to get something like this done, but again, the main focus is gonna be on the Prometheus section. Once that section gets done, then we will be moving to that VS Code section. So this is how it's gonna be going ahead. Just a minute, give me a second. Alrighty then, let me check the status of the live. So coming back to this particular section, let me just get the some of the settings set up, and after that I'll continue. Done. Okay, so what is gonna be the goal over here? The main goal is gonna be this Prometheus section. So first of all, I'm gonna be creating a backend, and once that backend is actually created, then I will even deploy that particular backend. So creating the backend, and once the backend is created, deploying that, and once that is deployed, let's keep it simple. Let's not worry about the deployment, otherwise I can do that anyway. Yeah, let's get the deployment done as well. And apart from this particular thing, what else can I do? For now, deployment should be enough. So over here, let me create a let me go to the learning. This is the test. What did I do here? That was the test related to the what project, React projects I created using Bun. So over here, if you just if you have seen the previous lives, so first of all, I created a React project. After that, I just simply built that project and just uploaded all the files on S3 bucket. And once that is done, I created a kind of distribution. And once the distribution got created, then I just simply added the SSL certificate. And once that got added, then at the end of the day, I just simply added the alternate domain, so that when I go to that particular domain, I am redirected to this particular domain name that's been provided by the distribution. So if I click on this, and if I go here, I will be getting my app. And apart from this particular thing, if I directly this is the certificate section, let me get rid of this. If I directly go to my React app dot coding the code dot site, I will still be getting that particular URL here. Again, this is on HTTPS. That simply means it does have the certificate. It is certified. Only then you can use HTTPS, right? So it just goes like that. So this much we've done. Again, I will be redoing this thing tomorrow, but that's gonna be different. Tomorrow, what we'll be focusing on, I will create a backend, I will create a front end, and I will deploy both of them, and then I will try to make both of them talk to each other. So this is the goal, that we will be doing something or the other related to this tomorrow. For now, let's simply focus on the Prometheus section. And for Prometheus section, what I'll do, let me delete this test from here, or let me name it a React Bun React app, Bun React app. This is the name of this, and I'm gonna be creating a Prometheus folder. So Prometheus, what will I be doing here? Inside Prometheus, I'm gonna be initializing a server, and again I will be initializing that using Bun. So it would be like simple, because if I use npm over here, I will have to just simply compile it into JavaScript and all. So these are the steps that are there. So it's better to directly use Bun over here. So Bun init, let's simply click on this. I'm gonna be getting the blank one, and this is how I will get a backend file here. Okay, so ultimately backend code. And once I click on this, and again, few things I need to get done. First of all, inside this lib, I need to add a DOM here so that it supports that, and then I need to DOM is mainly for console, and then I need to add types over here, and types inside types I need to specify Bun over here. So once this much is done, again I can dig deeper into this ts config file, but this much configuration does the job, and because of that thing, I'm not gonna be diving deep into it. It's better to know more about the things, but it's the time to just simply go with the things somehow. Later I will be digging deeper into each and everything. Alrighty then, what am I gonna be doing here? I'm gonna be installing one more thing, and that's gonna be Bun add express. Oh, come on. Just ignore the background noise right now. Something is being dumped right now nearby, and because of that thing, that sound is harsh noise is being generated. Okay, coming back to this one, I'm gonna be adding Bun add express and Bun add @types slash express. So, oh, just a minute, sorry, that should be as a dev dependency, just like this. And once this is done, then I will be just simply writing the normal express code, as simple as that. So let me do that here. So what I'm gonna be doing here, import express from express, and once I have that, it's gonna be pretty simple. Const app is gonna be equal to express, and I'm gonna be getting the port. So const port is gonna be equals to either process dot env dot port, or by default I will be having 3000 over here as well. So this much is done. After that, app dot now there are gonna be few things. What are those things gonna be? First of all, let's simply have a route called health check. This will be mainly for checking the health and all. Health check, just like this, and request response, and I will be returning response dot send okay from here. So this is how, this is the first thing that happens. After that, I will have some other routes, and it's gonna be pretty simple. You must have done it many times. I will have slash CPU route. It will what, do the job computation. It will do the computational job. At the end of the day, it will make your what, CPU get busy, or it can just simply utilize the process, I mean capability, or the power of your CPU. Ultimately, let me show you in action, then I will be able to explain it better. So request response, and what will I do? I will somehow, whenever I make a request to this particular route, so at that time your CPU, this particular route or this particular request will make your server get busy doing something. It doesn't really matter like what it is busy doing, but it will get busy doing something. And for right now, what I want to do, I want to just simply loop, run a loop. So let I is gonna be equals to 0, I should be less than 1 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 billion 1 billion. After that, 1 plus I plus plus. What will this do? This will do nothing but just simply kind of make your server loop through this these many times, as simple as that. So ultimately, server will be doing nothing but just simply looping through these many numbers, and at the end of the day, response.json message is gonna be computation is done, just like this. And apart from this particular thing, I will have one more, that's gonna be app dot again there could be home route as well. So app dot get slash request response CLG, not CLG actually, let's simply return a response from here. Response dot send, this is the home route. Getting a call. Okay, by the way, because I'm live right now, so I cannot really pick up the call. Just a minute, let me text him right now. The thing is that if somebody calls me up when I'm actually live, so my mobile stops giving me the internet connection, like the internet connection gets disconnected, and because of that thing the live gets disconnected. It's just like that. So that is something I have to make sure that that does not happen. Alrighty, I've texted him. Coming back to this, let me start sharing the screen again. And yeah, what was I doing? This is gonna be the home route, this is gonna be the health check, then I have this. Lastly, I will have one more, and that's gonna be app dot get slash users, and it will just simply return the users data. So it's gonna be like response.json, and the user is gonna be equals to user will contain few things. Ultimately, it will contain the name will be Vipendra, and age 24. So this is how it's gonna be going on, and this should be enough. Alrighty then, once I've done this much, I'm gonna be just simply running it. So app dot listen to this particular process port on port number this, and I'm gonna be just simply saying that CLG server is running on port and normal port. So quite normal server I have created. It should be pretty much understandable, and I can just simply run it too. and bun I'm gonna be running it on the watch mode. So bun watch index.ts. So the best thing of bun is that it just directly runs it on, it directly runs the ts file. We don't have to compile it and all. So this much we have done it. What is the next thing that I'm gonna be doing? The next thing is that once I've done this much, I should be able to access these routes. So let me come here, local host 3000 slash, this is the home page. So home route, by the way, let me turn on the dark mode because it's too bad. That is already on, yeah, fine. So this is the home route. Apart from this particular thing, I have a health check route. So this simply says okay. Apart from this particular thing, I have a CPU route. It simply, oh, it's so quick. It's quicker than I thought. Let me add one more zero over here. Reload it. Now it takes some time. That's great. I wanted it to take some time because it was really quick earlier. So it will just loop through the whole numbers and then it will return me this. And apart from this particular thing, I have my users, and it simply returns me this data. So ultimately, yeah, we are getting the data and all. What is the next thing? The next thing is that somehow I have to know about the request that I get. So what is the goal? The goal is simple, that I have to know about the number of requests I'm getting. So how can I get that? Apart from this particular thing, I have to know about what number of requests, time they take. So ultimately, and one more thing, number of pending requests. So these types of things I should know directly about my kind of service that I'm providing. So if there is a server, so I should be able to know that how many number of requests I'm getting currently and how many requests are actually pending right now. And lastly, I should be able to check how many requests are taking how much time. That's crazy. This is not the right way. How many requests are taking how much time? How much time are the requests taking? Actually, this should be the right way. So how much time are the requests are taking? How much requests taking? How much time are the requests taking? Yeah. Just trying to make it grammatically correct, nothing else. Okay, so these many things we have to do, and for this thing we are gonna be using Prometheus over here. Having said that, this is something that I'm still learning, but it's not like I don't know how to implement this. So let me do that. So over here, what will I be doing? First of all, I will install Prometheus. This is gonna be the first step. Of course, you will have to install that. So if I go to the website of Prometheus here, let's simply click on get started, and they are saying what? Click on installation, and the same thing New Relic does, but the thing the problem with the New Relic is that is paid. So if you are going with New Relic, later you will have to switch to Prometheus anyhow, because that will be quite expensive, like more expensive than you can even think of. Initially, of course, it is free, but as your application grows, that gets more and more expensive, and because of that thing, it's better to just simply use Prometheus. Okay, so this is how we are gonna be going ahead. Apart from this particular thing, let me install Prometheus first of all inside Node app, and then I will just simply continue from here on. And the command, first of I've already written this. And when it comes to Prometheus, one more thing, before even that, if I want to check how many requests I'm actually getting, so we can actually create a global level variable that will be counting the requests and all. So what I mean over here, that I'm gonna be creating a middleware just for right now. So that's gonna be function middleware, and request, response, and next, just like this. And at the end of the day, I will be using this middleware over here. So app.use middleware. To name it better, I'm gonna be naming it what? It is used for metrics, right? So metrics middleware, because it will be responsible for getting the metrics and also. Let me just simply paste it over here. So ultimately, this is what we've done. Okay, so whenever a request comes, the request will go through this particular middleware, And what can I actually do? I can just simply maintain a global level variable, so const number of requests. This is also possible, but now you again you can kind of create the whole Prometheus things on your own, but that is something that is already created. But even if you try to do, it's gonna be kind of reinventing the wheel once something is already there. So just use that instead of inventing that again. But go through the code of Prometheus. Even I have to do the same thing. You will be able to understand. Coming back to this, number of requests is gonna be initially 0, and as soon as the request comes here, so what will I be doing? As soon as the request comes here, first of all, let me give them the type. So request is gonna be type of request, that is gonna be coming from Express side. Response will be type of response from the Express, response from the Express, and lastly I will have next over here, that is gonna be having the next function type from the Express. Once this is done, so whenever I'm gonna be getting the request, I'm gonna do nothing but just simply increment it, and that is it. And by the way, I need to make it let, and that is it. This is how it's gonna be going on. So this way I will be able to know the number of requests. And what can I do? I can just simply have another route over here, app.get /metrics, and whenever I just make a request to this particular route, so what will I be getting? I will be getting the number of requests. So response.json and number of requests. So this is how I'm gonna be just simply sending that. So this way you will be able to know how many requests you've sent so far, and that is it. This is how the things are gonna be managed. Apart from this particular thing, if you want what else? Yeah, you can even track the time for those requests. By the way, number of requests I will have to call next over here. Apart from this particular thing, you can even track the time that requests are taking. So this way you can just simply go ahead with the things. So if I make lots of requests over here, so suppose this user section, and I make some requests to the home route, so let's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, something like this. And if I go to /metrics right now, metrics, so it is returning number of requests is 13. So yeah, I'm able to monitor the number of requests I'm making to my backend. Apart from this particular thing, I can even monitor the time. Monitoring the time in the sense, I will say that as soon as I get the request over here, const start time, and that's gonna be equals to date dot now. So over here, this is the start timing. So as soon as I get the event, get the request, so ultimately I will get my start time. And after that, what will happen? My request will be forwarded, and once the request is forwarded, at the end of the day, I will be getting what? I will be getting at some point of time, this next will be done. So ultimately what happens? So this middleware will run, start time will run, I will get the start time, number of requests, it will automatically increase, and then the request that I get, that will be forwarded to this next action method that I have here. This next will make sure that request actually goes to whichever specific route it is supposed to be going. So the request will hit that particular route, and once hits that, so that's gonna be a time when the whole process gets done, or gets processed. The whole logic gets processed, and after that everything related to this next will finish, and at the end I will get my end time. So end time should be equals to date.now, and once I have my end time, I will be logging the value total or time taken, and that's gonna be equals to end time minus start time. So this way I will be able to track the time as well, exactly how long they are taking. So I'm able to track the number of requests, I'm able to track the time. So let me check, let me send the value, send a request. So these are the requests that are going there, and if I come back here, so time taken 3 milliseconds, time taken 0 1 0, this is how it just simply goes. And if I make a request to CPU, because this is gonna be a CPU intensive task, so if I just simply send a request, it goes there, and ultimately it returned this thing. So 6900, let me send a request one more time. Yeah, so if I send a request again, the request goes there. I haven't got the response back yet. So ultimately these many seconds, 3980 milliseconds, that simply means it took more, it took around 4 seconds or something. So this way I'm able to calculate the time that a request is taking. But now what is the use of using Prometheus? Right now you are getting the number of requests and even the time taken, you are calculating it here. But what Prometheus does, it gives you your monitoring status in a more I mean organized manner. And there is something, it is multi-dimensional in the sense you can track the methods, like what was the method of the request that took this much of time. So you will be able to track the request with the help of the methods, with the help of the status codes, with the help of the routes. So ultimately it gives you more features, more functionalities, and that's what you want at the end of the day. So right now we are gonna be using Prometheus over here. So for using the Prometheus, of course I will have to install it. So and for installing it, and there are three things. There is a counter. Normally you will be counting the requests, exactly how many requests you get. Again, what is the difference between this particular counter, this normal counter, and the counter that Prometheus provide? The counter that Prometheus provides, that actually tells you about everything, in the sense what was the request, okay, what was the path, what was the route, what was the status code, and how many times you got the request over here. So this is how everything is actually organized in the best possible manner. And over here you just get all the requests, doesn't matter what kind of request you get, it will just simply keep increasing. So I will be showing you that very soon. Coming back to this one, and then there's another thing, something called gauge and histogram. These are more things that you get. I mean, there are three things. Counter, gauge simply tells you the number of pending requests that you have, and then histogram simply tells you kind of how much time I mean requests are usually taking. So how many requests are under less than, how many requests took less than 5 milliseconds, how many requests took maybe less than 10 seconds and all. So this is how it just simply goes. Coming back to this particular section, first of all I have to install it. So there is something called promo client. I hope I will be able to get it from here as well, because I'm working with this promo client, Prometheus, right? Download section. Okay, I'm prompted to just simply install it, but introduction, overview, am I going to get any option to just simply first steps? Oh, it turns out it hasn't been mentioned here. Never mind, if it hasn't been mentioned here, we will have to install it manually. But I just thought of getting it from the documentation, so it would be better if we are directly getting something from the documentation. But I don't think I'm gonna be getting that anyway. Concepts, data modeling. Yeah, not really getting the right option. Even if I click on the installation, so I'm not getting promo client anywhere. Agent HTTP, this command line, if I Prometheus, promo tool, hopefully it will give me the option to download somewhere. Where should I look for the command? Even in the installation section, that hasn't been mentioned here. So promo help check, query, debug, push, test, promo, QL, flex. Okay, fine. Migrations, operating, security, integration, instrument, client libraries. Client libraries for what? I want client libraries for Node. Will I get that? Yeah, here it is. So client library for Node. Yeah, now they are telling me that you have to just simply get it from promo. So ultimately you can monitor many things. It's not like just Node process you can monitor. If you actually click here, click to this client libraries, so you can monitor Go service, Java or Scala, Python, Ruby, Rust, Bash. You can just simply monitor that to C, C++, Common Lisp, Dart, Delphin, Eclipse. I mean, ultimately there are many ones. You can just simply monitor all those things. And here what we want to monitor? We want to monitor our service, that is Node.js. Again, There's a lot in this particular Prometheus as well, but at the end of the day I just want to monitor this. When I clicked on this, so what it is just simply telling me, it is just simply saying that Prometheus client for Node.js, we want that, and now we have to install it. And when it comes to installing this, I hope some commands have been mentioned here. If not, I will have to just simply install it manually. So what it is saying that here, that client is gonna be equals to require promo client. So ultimately I have to install promo client, and from there I will be getting the client. Okay, so let me do this much. So coming back to this one, what I want to do, I want to install, let me stop it. I want to install promo client. So bun add promo client. This is what I want to install. So let me install it. What do I have to do after that? After that, client collection collection default metrics, and then a client registry, new registry, and collection default metrics. Just simply added this here, and we are gonna be going with something that is needed the most here, and that's it. So we are first of all gonna be creating the counter. This is how they are simply saying that. First of all, import the client. Once you have imported the client, create the counter. So whenever you call counter.increment, the increment counter will be increased. Whenever you call counter increment by 10, it will be incremented by 10. So this is how it's gonna be going on. So this is the counter section that we were talking about. So let me just follow the same. Coming back to this particular section, I'm gonna be importing client. So import client, client from promo client, just like this. Once I got my client, then what are they saying? They are just simply saying that you can create a counter. So let me create a counter. Now you don't need to have it, rather everything is gonna be handled from the Prometheus side, and then you will be able to have a look at the result. Having said that, this is again kind of a code that's been written by somebody, nothing else. So it does not mean that it is some kind of magic. It is just simply handling the things in a better way, in a organized manner, and just simply making your job easier. Coming back to this one, I need to create a counter, right? So const request counter is gonna be equals to what? They are just simply saying that new client and counter. So that's get new client counter. This is a class, and inside this you have to specify some of the things. You have to specify your name, you have to specify your help. So name is gonna be what should be the name of this counter? The name of this counter should be http request counter. Again, name can be anything, up to you. And then help, how will you recognize this? So I can just simply have help http request counter for counting the number of requests. As simple as that. So this is just the helper text that you have. So this is how you can just simply go ahead, and what will it return? It will return you the normal counting, exactly how many requests you get. It will be just simply counting them, and it will return you. So let me even check whether it does or not. And apart from this particular thing, let me do one thing. Let me create a folder called matrix over here, just like this. And inside matrix I will have my request counter.ts here, and inside this I will have this logic here, the whole logic. It's better to just simply organize the code, and once I have it here, I'm gonna be exporting it from here so that I can use it wherever I need it. Again, I have to import the client from promo client. This is how I'm gonna be going ahead. I'm just simply exporting it from here. And apart from this particular thing, I'm gonna be I have my middleware just inside this only right now. So instead of having the middleware right here, I'm gonna be keeping the middleware inside this. So matrix middleware, so middleware .ts, I mean this should be one. And once I have this particular middleware, I will just simply export it from here. So this is how the things are gonna be going ahead. Let me import all the types over here, and this is all about organizing the code a bit better, nothing else. Even if you have everything in the same file, that will still work. And over here I can just have the logic. What will that logic be? We will be talking about that, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be just simply importing it once it is imported, and I don't need anything else as such. So let me get rid of all these types, and let me get rid of this promo client. Let me format it, and this is how I'm gonna be going ahead. So ultimately I'm using this middleware, and what does this middleware do? This middleware but will just simply get the client. So how will it get that? So whenever I get a request, so I will get the request counter that I have created, a request counter from this, and I will be calling increment. So it will just simply increment that, and after that I will say that go to the next process. It's as simple as that. So what is this request counter? This is the request counter that I created using the client. It's just the same like the way it has been mentioned over here. I did the same thing. Whenever I call counter.increment, so at the time request is gonna be incremented. So this is pretty simple thing. Whenever I call request counter.increment, it will be incremented. So inside the middleware, I'm just simply calling that, and once I'm calling that here, that's it. And when I call next, so the request will be forwarded to the particular route it was supposed to be forwarded, right? So this much we've done, and now whenever I make a request over here, the job is gonna be done in the right way. Apart from this particular thing, I have this matrix route over here, and this matrix route should be returning the whole route, right? And as we already have request counter over here, so request counter we already have it here, then there is something called get, I think not get, register. Let me see, I think we get it directly from the client. So here it's all about gauge and then configuration. Okay, let's not worry about this. How do we get the result? How do we get the result? There's a lot. It's not like this is just the beginning, this is the end, this is just the beginning actually. How do we get the result from there? So we get the, not summary, yeah, summary, configuration, default person, not this one, sorry. How do we get, there should be register type something. Let me just search here, register. Register dot what? Register dot, you can get that registered, I think register dot matrix, yeah. So you can get all metrics by running await register matrix. So ultimately what you are doing, you are incrementing the things and all, that's okay, but how will you get that data that you are storing somewhere, or that is getting stored somewhere? So you can call something called register dot matrix, and then this way you will be able to which will return string in the Prometheus exposition format. So ultimately you will be getting the data. And if I just control F, go here, so it's gonna be even simply giving you the kind of examples, and this is how it's gonna be going at. Let me do it directly and then see it in action. So what it means, first of all, from the client you will be getting it. So first of all, I need to have the client over here, and it turns out I don't have the client. So import client from promo client. Once I have it here, then what will I do from the client? So client dot register dot what? Register dot matrix. So once I call this, so get string representation for all metrics. So all the metrics that I've got so far, it will be just simply returning that. Once it returns, I'm gonna be of course awaiting it, and for awaiting it I have to make it async, and once I made it async, then I'm gonna be returning from here. And okay, this way I will just simply get it. How will I return from here? I got the matrix, right? So ultimately I have to return the matrix. So, or I can just simply say const matrix, just like this, and I can just simply say response dot send, and I'm gonna be sending the matrix. Hopefully this will work. Matrix. That's it. Should be fine. So I got the matrix, and then I'm just simply returning the matrix, and let's see what it's gonna be returning. Coming back to this, well, the server is not running if I'm not wrong. Let me run the server, and that's gonna be using the watch mode so that I don't have to restart it over and over. And coming back to this particular section, now I will make requests to the maybe CPU. So let's make some requests to the home page over here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. I made these many requests. First of all, this dark mode needs to be enabled to reload the page. And now once this is done, so if I go to slash matrix right now, slash matrix, so what it is saying, this is the kind of response that we are getting. And what is this response? This is simply saying help is what? HTTP request counter. HTTP request counter for counting our number of requests. So the name of the service or whatever counter we had, that was HTTP counter. After that HTTP counter for counting the request, this is nothing but the the help that we had, and then HTTP request is the counter is the name, and HTTP request counter has 14. So ultimately I sent 14 requests. It is not readable at all. So let me make it readable first of all. So if I want to make it readable, I will have to set what? I will have to set the headers. So headers. How do we set the headers? Just like this. If we are sending something, I think it's not possible to set the header right here. How? Okay, I can't set the header right here. So let me do one thing. I should be able to set the header here at least. How can I set the header? Usually this option should be here, but right now I'm not getting that. So never mind. That's another way. I can just simply set the header like this. So response dot set, and what I want to set the headers. So ultimately, okay, I think I can have a value called content type. I don't even need to set the header. I just have to set the. Are you sure it will work? Let's see whether it works or not. Content type, and that's gonna be equals to text plain. Well, this is not gonna work. And apart from this particular thing, it's better to just simply get the type from there from the client directly. So I can say response dot send. I'm gonna be setting content type just like this. And what will this content type be? Client dot register dot content type. So I'm gonna be getting the content type directly from here. And once I have, what is the problem? Well, the problem is expected 0 but got 2. So response, okay, this should not be send, this should be set. So I'm setting the content type like this, and I'm getting the type directly from the client register content type. And this time if I send the request, reload the page, so this is how it looks like. Quite easier to read. Okay, so what it is saying, the help is what? HTTP request counter for counting the request and all. This is the name, and this is the simply help that you had. What is the type? Type is the HTTP request counter. This is nothing but a counter right now. And how many requests I got? I got one request. If I just keep sending the request, it keeps increasing. So the more I send the request, the more number increases. As simple as that. So this is how the request counter works. But not only this, this thing you could have done with a normal request counter, right? You could have created globally, and then you could have got the job done. What I mean, this Prometheus does better. If you go here, not here actually, the request counter that you created over here. So inside this you can have labels. Okay, labels name. And what these labels name, you can specify that I want to count the request based on the method. I want to count the request based on route. I want to count the request based on status code. So right now requests are gonna be counted, but they are gonna be counted based on method, based on route, and based on the status code. So if you send the request now, I think you'll have to restart it or something. Let me restart it. Nope, this is not what I want. /CPU. Wait for a while. It will take a bit. It will take some time to just simply get the response. I think cache it, but why am I getting this result? Because once I've set the labels, I should be getting the results in the proper labels formatted manner, but I'm not getting that. Okay. So in that case, labels name I've set, method, route. Okay, just setting the labels name is not enough. Rather, when you are actually returning the response over here, matrix, you will have to specify the inside this particular metric. You will have to specify the names, if I'm not wrong. Let me check this thing. Is that really so? Request counter increment. So here I'm just directly getting the metrics. So what happens? I go to this particular middleware. When I go to this particular middleware, I'm calling request counter increment. When I'm calling this, I will have to make sure that it includes what? It includes the method. Method is gonna be what? Method is gonna be request dot method, just like this. Then it includes the route. Route is gonna be what? Request dot route. path. Just a minute. First of all, let me close it all. I'm gonna be checking the value of the request that I get. So clg request dot, just simply request dot route. Will I get the request dot route here? I'm gonna be checking exactly what I get in the route. I'm not sure about this thing. Let me send the request directly over here, and inside the route, but undefined. So request dot route is undefined. So request, just request, reload the page, come back here. This is the thing that I get in the request, and at the end of the day I get something called request dot path. So this is what I'm gonna be getting. So if I say request dot path, what will I be getting here now? Slash matrix. So ultimately, let me close this, come back to this particular section, and what I'm saying, instead of calling just increment directly, I'm gonna be making sure that I'm going to increment, but I'm gonna be incrementing based on method, route, and status code. So status code is gonna be equals to status code comes from response, so response dot status code. So this is how I'm gonna be going ahead, and I will be just simply forwarding the request as well, and this should not be problematic. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna be going ahead with the thing. So what will happen now? Inside my request counter, I already have these labels, method, route, and status code. That simply means now if I specify these labels inside the increment function, it knows, because if I remove the labels from here, then there's gonna be error if I'm not wrong. So as I've removed the labels, well, it doesn't throw any error, but I'm not sure whether it will still work without the labels. Let me see. Let me reload the page, and what it is saying, added label method is not included initial label set. So it is just not included there. That simply means I will anyhow have to include the labels here. So Control Z. So any label that I'm actually using here inside increment method, route, and status code, they need to be mentioned here as label names. Once I have them, if I reload the page, then what will happen? I'm going to get the request like this. So this is the HTTP request. Great. Counter. What is the method? Method is the get. What is the route? Route is the slash matrix. What is the status code? Status code is 200. How many requests did I get on this particular section? I got one request. I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like this. So these many requests I got on what? On slash matrix, when the method was get and when the status code was 200. Let me make another request to CPU. This is gonna be the first request. I will send 2 requests over here. One more request, and after that let me send another request to users. So this request went to users. Let me go to matrix again. Here now I have these 3. What are they saying? Route is slash matrix, method is get, status code is 200. There were 12 requests. Then on route CPU, when the method was get and when the status code was 200, there were 2 requests, because we did make 2 requests. On the route users, when the method is get, when the code is 200, there is 1 request. Total requests are 12 plus 2 plus 1. That's gonna be around 15. That's actually 15. So this way you can calculate all of them, and you are not getting total requests, not just getting total requests. You can calculate any time. You are getting the number of requests labeled, based on method, route, and status code. If status code changes, if there is 400 status code, so you will be getting something else. Like let me add something else like ABC over here. So FDASF, this is the route. You got the request over here, but the status code was 400. So if you go to matrix right now, like this, so what you are getting, the route was FDASF, the status code was 200. Why? Don't know. It should be get, can't get. That simply means if I go to slash matrix, somehow it is still giving me status code 200. It is not found, right? If I make a request to any route over here, inspect it, console, if I go to the network, reload the page, 404, it is not found. If I'm actually getting as not found, then why is this 200 there? Just a minute. I'm still getting it as 200. Okay, there is a definitely I'm missing something. What is that something? What is the status code? Response.status code. That's the one that I'm actually adding over here. So what will I do? First of all, I will keep it here and let me see if there's any change. Okay, let me go to anything. Let me reload the page few times. Let me come back to matrix. Still getting 200 is missing something right now. What is the problem? The problem is that if I send the request to any route and if that route is not present, in that case I'm still getting 200. Rather, I should be, the status code should actually be 400. Why is that so? Because that's the status code for this particular route, if I'm not wrong. You are just simply nope, not really like this. Index.ts matrix register. How about using end over here? Let me check it like this as well. And let me do one thing. Instead of having a different instead of changing the route from here, let me just directly have users and send the request a few times, come back here and check it. So 200, let me make it 1 2 3 4 anything, enter it. It is not found, and now I'm still getting 200. Why is that so? Okay, there is a problem. What is the solution to this problem? I have no idea. The simple thing is that it is getting 200 even when the page is not available. And what should usually happen? It should be getting 500. It could be because of what? I'm gonna be having one more app.use. It will be getting all the requests over here. Request response, just like this. Response dot status 404 dot json message page route and just simply not found. That should be enough. Now if I make any request to here, this one 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, come back to this one. Sorry, it is just simply saying that what this is a missing parameter, visit this. Isn't this allowed? How about this? This is problematic. Missing parameter at index this visit. Simply say that this is not allowed. What is the solution now? I'm gonna be removing the whole path. I will be getting all the requests over here. Okay, for some reason this is not allowed. Okay, coming back to this one. One not found. Yeah, now I'm getting this not found. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Come back to this particular section, reload it, and to this I got the request. The status is still 200. That's crazy. I got 16 at 200 request. Coming back to this particular section, if I just inspect it, network, reload, reload. I'm actually getting 400 over here, but I'm getting okay. Let me resolve it tomorrow. Okay, right now what is the problem? We are getting the result, but at the end of the day we are getting 200. I will be telling you exactly why is that so, but we are getting, so we are getting, can't really do anything. But at the end of the day we are able to, what we are able to do, we are able to like count the request based on the method, route and status code. Okay, this is working. Apart from this particular thing, what else can I do? Apart from this particular thing, there is something called gauge. I can use gauge. What is the use of gauge? Gauge mainly used for checking how many requests are pending. Okay, so let's even check that particular thing for using gauge. Let me matrix, I've gone through this much. The next one is gonna be for the gauge, and for using gauge there is a method that we get. I think this much we have already done, haven't we? Yeah, it's time to mainly use gauge. And then how will we use gauge? Actual request what we'll have to just simply, let's simply see it from here only. How do we use gauge? Coming back to this section, so let me go to the top. So far we've used what? So far we have used counter, so custom matrix. So we have actually used the counter, we have checked even how it works and all. The next is that we can actually use a gauge. So gauge is gonna be equals to new client gauge, and what it does, it just simply checks how many requests are actually pending right now, and this is how it's gonna be going ahead. That's it, we will be able to use gauge. But ultimately, let me do that. I'm gonna be creating one more file here, active requests.ts. So active request.ts, this is gonna be the file name. What will this file do? First of all, I will be importing the gauge, not gauge client. So import client from client. Once this is done, then const I will need what will I get from him? I will get the gauge. Gauge are similar to counters, but gauge value can be decreased. Yeah, and ultimately they will be telling me about the pending request or the active requests that are there. So in the gauge, let me do it. So I can say active requests are gonna be what? Active requests are gonna be await, well, not await, new client dot gauge. Yeah, and what do we have to do inside that? We have to set the name and we have to set the help. So name is gonna be what? Name is gonna be active requests or http active requests, just like this, and help is gonna be what? Number of http active requests, just like this. So ultimately this way I have created the gauge. What then ultimately I have to export this object that I've got. So this is the object that I've got calling this particular method, class. Once I've got this particular object here, so I'm gonna be coming back to this particular middleware. And what will this do? As soon as I get the request, first of all it will increase that. So request or active request dot increment, so it will increment the value. So as soon as I got the, what can I say, active request gauge, and it will just simply increase that, and after that it will decrease that. So this is the only thing that it will be doing. So kind of it is a finish. I haven't been calling this. I got the problem. Let me don't do anything. Let me do one thing. This next will be called, but there is a problem right here in the code if I'm not wrong. Let me first of all check this. The thing is that whenever I get, even if I don't call this, I'm going with the request counter right now, and once these two things are happening, so ultimately this request counter will be called, and this will be called request counter on finish. And what am I gonna be doing? Because I need the status code. The main problem is not with the method, or the main problem is not with the path. The main problem is with the status code. And when is the status code returned? When the response is returned. So if I do it like this, response dot finish, when response dot on finish, whenever the response finishes, at that time I have to run it. just like this, not before that. Will it work? Hopefully. So now if I send some requests here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, come back to this particular section, close this, and here I'm getting 404. Great job. So the reason I wasn't getting 404 status code here, because I was running it at the beginning, and at the beginning response.status code was 200 by default, and now I'm running it after finishing. So once the response.on is finished, once I've sent the response, the whole process finishes. After that I'm gonna be checking the status code. If that is not found, that's gonna be 400, and this is how it's gonna be getting done. So now I'm getting 400 over there, and now it's time to count the number of active requests. So active request is gonna be incrementing here. So whenever I get any request, at that time active request is going to be incremented, and whenever it finishes, right, whenever it finishes, when I get the request, it will be the request is going to be incremented, and then next function will be called, then response will get returned. At that time this particular section will be called, and as when that is called, at that time active request dot decrement, just like this. So over here the request will keep incrementing, and whenever the response is returned, at that time the request will keep decrementing. So this is how it's gonna be going on. And as for the result, now if I have a look over here, I have few things here. HTTP counter, this simply counts the number of requests on a particular route or a method in the status code. And there is another thing, that is HTTP request, number of HTTP active request. There is only one active request right now. Let me write again, and I'm getting one over here, because if you make a request, that itself is active right now, right? So I can do one thing, when I'm checking the active request, at that time don't do anything. When I'm sending a request to the matrix, so if a request dot path, if that's equals to strats matrix, at that time don't do anything, because matrix is just for checking purpose, right? So when I'm sending any request, at that time you should not increment the active request and all. And same over here when it comes to decrementing, so don't decrement when I send the if the request dot path, that's equals to slash matrix, and just like this. So this is how it's gonna be going on. And if I check right now, if I send any request, still one. Let me stop the server, let me run it again. Number of requests is 1. So when you are sending request there, it should not be counted, right? CLG counted. Let me check. If that's not equals to this, I have to write when this is not equals to that, and similarly this particular section should be running when this is not equals to that. Sorry, that was my bad. And if I reload it, the number of requests is 0, because there are no requests right now. And if I send any request towards CPU, because that is a CPU intensive task, so let me do it. Let me be back here, reload the page. Oh, there is a problem. What is the problem? The problem is this CPU intensive task runs a for loop. Once any loop is running on the backend side, that will make backend consume all the that will make the backend completely busy. That means as long as the loop is running, the backend will not serve any request. That is a problem. So what can we do here? We can actually run use promise, and right now the code is synchronous. We can make the code asynchronous. So whenever we send any request to /CPU, at that time it makes the makes the server loop through all these numbers, and as long as it is just simply looping through them, nothing will happen. So what can we do? Instead of having it here like this, I can make it async. Is there any proper way to make it async? Nope, not this way. Oh, there must be a way. There is something called there are some kind of functions, they get called immediately. I forgot the name of them, and they look somewhat like this. No, not this way. What are the immediately invoked functions, right? Immediately invoked functions. Immediately invoked functions in JavaScript. So top level function that will be called, and then a function inside that. This is how it goes. So two of them, then inside that I will have a function just like this. That is it. So this is called immediately invoked function. So ultimately I have a function that simply, this is the top level function that calls itself, and once that particular function calls itself, so this particular whole logic runs, and when this particular logic runs, so I'm gonna be making it asynchronous. So async, and when this is asynchronous, paste the loop, and I think this should be enough. So what happens, as this particular function is asynchronous, so this for loop should be asynchronous, and as this for loop is asynchronous, so this should not be synchronous. I mean, hopefully. Let me check it. So I'm gonna be sending a request to this, and gonna be sending a request to this. No. It doesn't make it asynchronous. I thought it would make it. But bro, it's not like that. As long as the for loop is actually running, you can't really do anything. So let me do one thing. New promise resolver, and set timeout. I'm gonna be resolving this. Resolve is nothing but a function. You can even call that. Resolve is a function, right? Yeah. I'm gonna call it after 5 seconds. So this time, this is a promise that simply means it will be asynchronous. I just wanted to make something asynchronous, right? So come back to this particular section, reload this. Why is it so fast? I need to wait. How about using set timeout directly? This previous way is right. Once this much is done, I'm gonna be returning this, but this becomes asynchronous, and because of this thing, it gets returned directly. What is the way? What is the right way to just simply get it done? Asynchronous. Gauge. So what can I do to fix this? 1 took a 4, 4 took a 1. Not getting the right way. How can I fix this? How can I make this particular route wait for a few seconds, and that should be asynchronously happening? Okay, let me try to look for some better ways. We have gone through this. Any better way? Oh, sorry, I did not make it async. If I'm using a promise, I had better make it async, and now it should be making it asynchronous. That simply means it should be awaiting in the sense if something is async and you are just simply using the promise inside that. So first of all, this will happen, and it will be just simply awaiting for it, and then this should happen right after that. So let me check it. For loop makes it completely busy, and once it is completely busy, so it doesn't really do anything else. So ultimately, what is the use? What is the difference between that? For loop makes your server completely busy, just simply computing the stuff. When it comes to asynchronous processes, so first of all, kind of when you send any request, the request stops here. The request gets the job done, and then whenever the job is done, the code goes to the next line. But that doesn't mean that your server is just busy handling this. Your server can handle other requests as well, because that is asynchronous. At the time it can handle many things. Coming back to this one, reload it. अरे भाई ऐसे नहीं, should be working. Set timeout, resolve, set. This is also right. Do I need to await this? Oh yeah, if I send a request over here, the request is 1, and keep doing that, do. Slowly it will become 1 as soon as that gets resolved. Now it becomes 0. Okay, so as long as the request goes there, the request pending active request will become 1. There is one active request as long as that loader is loading, and once the request gets resolved, the response gets returned, it will become 0 back. I mean, it will back to 0. So this is how it actually happens. So ultimately, yeah, we are able to monitor this. Even we can have multiple CPU processes running this, and same here, not same here, this. So ultimately, Control F, Control F, Control F, come back to this one, Control F. So right now I have 3 requests. No, 3? How? Active requests are 3, 2, because I send the request yeah, many times. Sorry for that. Let it be back to 0, and it will not be back because I sent the request, but the response never got returned. That is right. That is the problem. The request went there, but I just simply cancelled that. So ultimately, it got the request, but it never returned the response, and because of that thing, that remained to 0. Crazy stuff. This and this. So ultimately, 2 requests are there. If I just simply check this thing out, so there is only 1 request. Literally. Why there should be 2 requests? Come back to 0. Yeah, it came back to 0, but let me reload it. Let me reload this as well as reload this. Come back to this. I should be getting 1. Why am I still getting 1 request? What is the problem? This now 2, and it should be back to what? It should be back to somewhat 0 soon. So okay, ultimately it does seem to be working. It will be back to only 1. It will not be back to the 0. There's high possibility of this. Yeah, it hasn't back to 0 because I sent a request, I cancelled the request, and then I sent it again. So the request that got sent earlier, the response never got sent back. Alrighty, coming back to this one. So Gauge is also working. Gauge is able to just simply check the number of pending requests or active requests and all. Okay, that's done. What is the next thing? The next thing that we are gonna be learning, that is something called histogram. So we've gone through this much. We've gone through Gauge. Again, there's a lot in them as well. It's not like I know each and everything. I just know the basic things that simply get the job done. Maybe in future I will be digging deeper into it. For now, this much is enough. And then there is the last thing that is called histograms. What they do, even it starts the timer. Amazing job. By the way, coming back to this Gauge section. So when it comes to this Gauge, so in the Gauge you can just create buckets like 0.1 bucket, 5 seconds bucket, 15 seconds bucket, 50 milliseconds, 0.1 millisecond, 5 millisecond, 15 millisecond, 50 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds, and 500 milliseconds. And what these buckets contain? These buckets will contain the request that took less than this time. So all the requests that took less than 500 milliseconds will be in this particular bucket. All the requests that took less than 100 milliseconds, that will be in this particular bucket. All the requests that took less than 50 milliseconds, that will be in this particular bucket, and this way it will be just simply going on. Okay, so let me just simply go with this two as well. And once we've gone through this one, almost all the things are gonna be resolved. So HTTP request duration microsecond. So by the way, this is gonna be histogram, right? So let me create it inside request. Should I have it here or somewhere else? Active request. I have request counter, I have active request. I'm gonna be creating one more, and that's gonna be what? Request duration. Request duration dot ts. I think, yeah, it does make sense. So over here, what will I be doing? Over here, this client, I will get the things like this. So what's export const request duration milliseconds. Let me have this as well, request milliseconds. And what will it return? It will return nothing but a function, not really a function. New client histogram, new client. Again, how will I get the client? Import from client from client. I got my client, and after I got my client, I will be getting what? I will be getting new client dot histogram, and again it will take name, and the name is gonna be request duration milliseconds, whatever you wanna name that. What is the name here? The name is the metric name. Okay, what can I name it? HTTP request duration. So let me name it like this: HTTP request. The name can be anything, that doesn't really matter. Duration, and that will be in the millisecond. Help is the sense the helper text that you will have over here. So duration of HTTP requests in milliseconds. This is how it's gonna be going on. Apart from this particular thing, you can have buckets over here. Buckets in the sense, let me have the buckets. Buckets. What those buckets can be? 0.1, 0.1 millisecond, 5 millisecond, 20 milliseconds. 50 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds, 500 milliseconds, 1000 milliseconds, that means 1 second, and 3 seconds, and 5000 seconds. It will just simply keep going on like this. And this should be working. That simply means I will be able to check the request, like how many requests were under, how many requests got resolved under 5 milliseconds and 20 milliseconds. Let me even try this thing out. That simply means if I use this inside the middleware. So let me go to the middleware. Inside middleware, what will I be doing? How do I use this? To use this, you will have to call histogram.observe. It will take the millisecond, and that is it. Hopefully this is gonna be right. Let's see. So it only takes the millisecond, and it simply checks how long the request is taking. So I will be getting the histogram over here once I got the histogram. So what will I do? Once I got the histogram, when should I be checking? Whenever I'm returning the response, at that time I should be checking exactly how long it's taking. That's it. So only in that particular situation that should happen, right? So let me just do it like this over here. If that's not equals to matrix, over here, requests duration in milliseconds dot observe. I have to observe. And what is the how will I get the duration? The duration will be equals to value in histogram. So whatever time I provide here, that much time is took to just simply resolve it, right? So const start time date dot now, just like this. I got the starting time. What is the ending time? Const end time is gonna be date dot now, just like this. This is the ending time, and I'm gonna be providing it. The time is gonna be what? How much time it took? end time is this, const time taken end time minus start time, just like this. So I have my time taken, and this much time will be given to this, so ultimately this time will be saved. Let me check exactly what kind of result I'm gonna be getting. This is insane. Alrighty, by the way, let me reload it. Okay, so this is how this kind of result I'm getting. So this particular thing you must know already. This is HTTP request counter method get route slash metric status goes 200. 2 requests I got here, and then there are no active requests right now. And then there is something called HTTP request duration milliseconds, and less than 0.1, less than 5, less than 20, less than 50, less than 100, less than 50, 500, less than 1000, less than 3000, less than 5000, less than infinity. Okay, so these many buckets I have, and as the request come over here, wow, I like this, by the way. Coming back to this thing, as the request come here over here, if a request takes less than 5 milliseconds, so this particular counter will increase. If the request takes less than 100 milliseconds, this particular counter will increase. But this is mainly for what? This is not for the matrix route, rather this is for these particular routes. So let me go to the users. Let me send 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 whatever. Come back to this one, reload the page, and what happened? I got 13 requests. I got 4 requests that got responded in 4 milliseconds, sorry, 0.1 millisecond. So 4 requests were responded in less than 0.1 milliseconds. 13 requests were responded in 5 milliseconds, and then it just kept going on. So ultimately what happens, infinity contains all the requests that got responded less than that, and then less than 5000 in the sense it contains all the requests that got resolved less than 5 milliseconds. So if even if a request got resolved less than 5 seconds, that simply means that got resolved less than 20 seconds as well, that got resolved less than 5 seconds. If something is less than 5 seconds, that is definitely less than 20, 50, 100, 500, 1000, and because of that thing you are getting 13 everywhere. Okay, so it should be enough that in 0.1 millisecond only 4 requests got resolved. In 5 seconds, less than 5 seconds, 13 requests got resolved. If our request got resolved in less than 5 seconds, that simply means that is less than 20 seconds, less than 50 seconds, less than 100 seconds, and that is why I'm getting 13 over here. So it should be understandable. But at the end of the day, if there were total 13 requests, okay, so when it comes to this less than section, less than 5 seconds, so it contains all the requests from the 0. So 0 in the sense there were total 13 requests, and 4 requests got resolved in 0.1 millisecond. That simply means 13 minus 4, that is around 9 requests was resolved between 0.1 and 0.5. I hope you are able to get it. It's quite confusing, yeah, but this is how it works. So it's like all the requests from 0 to 5 milliseconds are here. So all the requests that got resolved in 5 milliseconds, that are total 13. The requests that got resolved in 0.1 millisecond, that are 4. So the requests that got resolved between 0.1 and 5 milliseconds, that are gonna be equals to 13 minus 4, that simply means 9. So this is how it simply goes. The request that got resolved between 5 milliseconds and 20 milliseconds, 13 minus 13, 0. Okay, so this is how it's gonna be going on, because all the requests got resolved in under less than 5 milliseconds. And they are again part of less than 20 seconds and less than 50 seconds. But even if they are a part of less than 50 seconds, but if I check, okay, how many requests got resolved between 20 seconds and 50 seconds? So 13 minus 13, 0. So ultimately, those requests got resolved in less than 50 seconds, but the exact value is less than 5 seconds. So between 0.1 and 0.5, though they got resolved, and this is just the number, extra info that you are getting, because if something is less than 5 seconds, that is definitely less than 20 seconds and all, and because of that thing this 13 is being mentioned everywhere. I hope it does make sense. Again, so far I have configured them, or I am categorizing them using this less than only. What is the next thing that I can do? The next thing is that I can even add the methods labels over here. So when it comes to adding the labels, so if I go to request duration over here if I want to add labels, I can add the labels. And what are those labels gonna be? I want to categorize them based on method. I want to categorize based on route. I want to categorize based on status code. Coming back to this request counter, middleware ultimately, whenever I am observing them, I will have to now add those what? I will have to add those labels as well over here. So method is gonna be what? Method is gonna be request dot method, and route is gonna be what? Route is gonna be request dot path, and status code is gonna be what? Status code is gonna be response dot status code. Status code. So this way I will be categorizing them based on this as well. So if you get the request, if you send the request again, so now how you are getting them? You are not getting them. You will have to send the request from here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Coming back to this one, reload the page here. So this time it's different. It is just simply saying that all the requests that took less than 0.1 millisecond, the method was get, the route was slash this is wrong, sorry for that. This code was 404 because it was not found, and in that particular condition or in that particular duration 5 requests got resolved, and then in less than 5 seconds 9 requests got resolved, and this simply kept going on. So ultimately you are not only categorizing them based on the milliseconds it took, you are also categorizing them based on the code, based on the status code, based on the route, and based on the request that you get. Because if you actually make a proper request to users right now, users, it got succeeded, and this time you have even 200 status code, that simply means it gonna be categorized based on 2 status codes. So let me send a request now. So here we are. So there is the list of ultimately when the route is users, and ultimately wrong users because this name is not right, and the status code is 400, and when the request actually took less than 0.1 millisecond, these many requests are, these many requests are there, and the request that took less than 5 seconds, method is get, route is this wrong route, and status code is this, there are 9 requests. Coming back to this one, when the method is get, route is really slash users, status code is 304 at that time, and the request that took less than 0.1 is 1. So ultimately one request took less than 0.1 millisecond, whose status code is 304, route is the users, and method is get, and 5 requests took less than 5 seconds, milliseconds, whose method is get, route is this and this. So ultimately this way you are not only categorizing them based on the time, based on the buckets, you are even categorizing them based on get, because once you get a new method over here, suppose right now I have get method, then I am gonna be having put, I will have post, I may have patch, I may have delete. At that time it will even be categorized further. I may have different routes, on the basis of the routes it will be categorized. Right now it's been categorized based on status code. So over here the status code is 400, over here the status code is 304. It's even been categorized based on the route. So over here there was this wrong route, and this has been categorized here with the real name and all. So this is how things are going on. Again, you don't you should be able to understand this, because if you are not able to understand, then you will struggle. So just give it some time, just know more about it. If you don't know, so then you may even watch some videos and all, but ultimately it's not that difficult either. Having said that, Prometheus UI understands this format. Whether you are able to quickly understand this format or not, that doesn't matter. Prometheus UI understands this, Grafana understands this, and because of this it will be able to create proper graphs, and using those graphs you will be able to just simply check, because at the end of the day you don't have to come back here and just simply have a look at this, rather it will be converted into UI, proper graphs and all, and then you will be able to just simply check the things directly. But again, this is how we get the request. We covered 3 things. We covered the counter first of all, then we covered the active request, and lastly we covered histogram. Again, how it gets integrated with the Prometheus UI or Grafana, that is something I'm yet to learn, but once I've learned that, I will be just simply talking about that too. So this is how things are gonna be going on. Talked quite a lot about these things, and the good thing is that we know where it's been mentioned. So you have to just simply go to the Prometheus website. Again, this new relic, what is this new relic? This does the same thing. It gets connected to your we have even talked about this particular thing quite a lot. So what it does, it gets connected to your host machine or service, and then it keeps pulling the data from there, and it just renders the data in proper graphs and all. Even you can customize them. The only downside is that it is paid. So initially it is, even you can say that initially you can just simply go with the free services and all, but at the end of the day, over the time it will become expensive for you, and once it becomes expensive, you will not be able to maintain the things and all. And because of that thing, it's not the best idea to just simply go with New Relic. You can go completely your choice, but you will have to pay money. And because of that thing, people move to Prometheus, people move to Grafana and all, ultimately these things. Alrighty, then we've talked about these many things. Again, there are quite a lot of things that they are yet to be talked about, but we will be talking about them later. As for right now, I'm gonna be focusing on one last thing. And what is that last thing? That last thing is that better stack. There were two other libraries. What those libraries? Websites. They just simply get the URL of your website, and they just simply keep sending the HTTP request in some intervals, and on the basis of the response, they just simply keep monitoring your machine. So this is that is what they do, and one of them is better stack. So better stack. So let me go here. Let me check this thing. Coming back to this, and once I'll have to sign up over here. So let me click on sign up. Okay, AWS, continue. Dark mode. I'll invite colleagues later. Free mode, continue. Okay, this is just simply setting it up. That's great. And even here on my notes, I had this mentioned there because this was something important. So if I go to my world, in this particular section here, so I have these two things. I have to know more about PagerDuty. I have to know more about BetterStack. Ultimately, they are kind of used for monitoring and all. But ultimately, unless I go through them, I cannot be sure about it, right? So here I am, community. Let me close this. I can invite the colleagues and all, and incidents. Google.com ongoing. So I think this is what it is kind of tracking right now, monitoring right now, if I'm not wrong. Having said that, monitors. So now connect Slack or Microsoft. Nope, not this. So this is being Google.com is being monitored right now. It is just simply saying that it is up. We have our this front end that we have just simply what we've done, we have deployed it, this particular front end. So we are gonna be monitoring this front end. So create a monitor, and URL is gonna be this is gonna be the URL. I hope it will be able to track it, and then email me and immediately alert other team members, and email and create monitor. Monitor was successfully set. Europe. React coding, this is up and running, 7 seconds, 8 seconds currently up for this. Last checked 10 seconds ago. This. So ultimately what it is doing, it is just simply checking it over and over, as simple as that. So using this is pretty simple. Better Stack does nothing. You have to just simply provide your URL, your website URL over here. Now it will keep checking it. Last check 26 seconds ago. Okay, and then I can pause it as well. And what happens when you get a lot of traffic, at the time it will notify you that okay, you got a lot of traffic and all. It checked 15 seconds ago, so it keeps checking in maybe 30 seconds if I'm not wrong. So it keeps checking over and over whether your website is up and running or not. Like it's gonna be 24, it will check again just quickly. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, come on, check it, 34, 35. Okay, let's wait for a while. It should be checking my website very soon. Last checked at 39 seconds. Last checked at yeah, it came back again. So what it is just even showing me the graph that your website has been completely up and running. So it keeps checking whether the URL that I provided that is actually responding back or not. So this is the one of the first things. Heartbeats, it's just simply gonna status pages. But overall, this is the main job of this. You can just do more things. You can even add alerts. You can notify the team members that okay, something goes wrong and all, or the website got a lot of traffic on this. We are monitoring two things over here right now. Incidents. There can be incident, and this is just a sample incident right now. Whenever something goes wrong, at that time this way you just simply get informed. And what is this incident? This could be something Vivendra blah 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 blah. You can just simply go through it. But ultimately received response error. So ultimately whenever you get the errors, you got the error from the Asia, you got the error from North America, you got the error from Europe and all. So ultimately you will be able to debug the things the right way. Who's on call? How about what are these? Overall, this is what it does. Now it's time to explore the options. So live tail events metrics we will be able to see the metrics the right way, hopefully. We can create the dashboard, proper dashboards and all. And the same thing we've been doing on New Relic, right? We were creating the dashboards and also ultimately this is the job they do. So not really a big problem. Real-time flights. Error tracking, warehouse, settings, AI, SRI, uptime. Let me click on this. Uptime, this controls that. Then there is telemetry. I hope that's the one. And ultimately the same things you are getting. The most important thing is this, that if you click on this uptime, then you will be able to monitor a particular service that you are running, and that is it. And let me check one more thing, PagerDuty on the go. So let me simply click on start for free and get started. I'll have to enter my email. This does trial work best with the business emails. I don't have this. PagerDuty is not gonna allow me. What a bad thing. I don't have a business email. But okay, never mind. This is crazy ultimately. I mean, they should be allowing. They don't allow even normal emails. Sign up. One, two, three. Yeah, they're asking for business email. I don't really have that. But ultimately, what does this PagerDuty do? Next level incident management. Again, it's all about incident management. If something goes wrong on your server side or with your application that you deployed, then how will you know? I mean, you are just sleeping and something went wrong, then everything just got disrupted, right? So it's better to be notified, and these services are just meant for that only. They are gonna be notifying you something goes wrong. They will be keep checking over and over if something goes wrong, right or not, and then on the basis of that thing, they are gonna be just simply notifying you, and that is it. Even you can just simply click on this and remove it. That's completely your choice. Similarly, I'm gonna be removing this as well. That's completely your choice, and this is how they just simply get the job done. Amazing job. So we have gone through this as well. Better stack is done. PagerDuty, unfortunately, this is not giving me the option to just simply. Come on, let me have it here. And the thing is that my Wi-Fi doesn't work. Wi-Fi in the sense Wi-Fi dongle connector that doesn't have that much capacity in itself to just handle the stuff the right way. And I have ordered a new one, but let's see. That's gonna be taking some time. Coming back to this, better stack. Copy the link from here. Let me paste it here /web. Okay, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z /web. Just a minute. I'm just simply pasting the link so that later I know exactly where they are. Where do I have to just simply look for the things? Okay, these things are done. Let me close this as well. So far we've gone through many things. Even we've talked about many things. We have created just a demo React app. We have deployed that on CDN using CloudFront and S3. S3 means S3 means what is the full form? S3 storage service version 3. No, simple storage service version 3. So that is the full form of S3. And apart from this particular thing, we have even created the certificates. So now we are using HTTPS secured HTTP connection and all. So that thing also got done. Let's get one last thing done today, and then I'm gonna be calling it. What is that last thing? Let me close this. Let me delete this as well. The distribution that I created, I'm gonna be deleting the distribution because tomorrow I have to do the same thing again. Okay, so I'm gonna be disabling the distribution right now, and once the distribution is disabled, I should be able to delete this. I'm not able to delete this for some reason. Never mind. I'm gonna be back here, and I created a bucket, and what will I do? Let me click on the buckets. I'm gonna be deleting that particular bucket, so let me click on delete, and that particular bucket is, again, you cannot delete the bucket until unless you have removed everything inside the bucket. So let me come here and let me select all the items. Let me click on delete, so all the items are gonna be deleted. Again, I will have to write permanently delete here, so let me copy it, control come on yaar, copy, paste, delete objects. So this is going to be deleted. Once this is deleted, after that I can just simply come on buckets. Now if I click on delete, I should be able to delete that. Again, I have to enter the name, that is bun react app bucket. I will be creating this thing again tomorrow, and the main goal tomorrow going to be just simply deploying the stuff and all, and that's gonna be pretty interesting. And coming back to this one, if I reload the page right now, there is one more thing remaining. I'm gonna be going through that, but okay, turns out I cannot really delete this particular distribution that I have created. Okay, so this thing is done. Close this. Let's go to the home page. And how many days do I have? Turns out 114 days. Okay, let's continue. So the next thing is that I'm gonna be creating an EC2 machine, and I'm gonna be clicking on launch. By the way, this should be Mumbai, and inside this literally getting started walkthrough EC2. I'm not getting started. Launch without walkthrough. Yeah, so here we are. So what I want to do, there is a website called coder.com. If you click here, if you go to home maybe, and now I'm gonna be clicking on VS Code, and it will, what it provides actually, let's simply go through it. You can develop in your Coder workspace remotely with VS Code. We support connecting with the desktop client and VS Code in the browsers. Code support. Learn more, blah blah blah. VS Code desktop is default tab for workspace. So from coder.com, enterprise base Ubuntu, user root, and then do this. I'm not sure if I have the proper command here. What is the command? I have that saved in my notes, that is for sure. So let me get that too. That was related to what? Horizontal scaling. What it does ultimately, you can run VS Code inside a container, ultimately inside an EC2 machine, and once that runs inside an EC2 machine, so you can just simply export it to some ports, and that simply means at that time your VS Code will be running inside an EC2 machine instance, and you will be able to access it on a port. So that is what it does, but not getting the right command. I will, of course, even if I have something saved in my notes, first of all I will make sure that I'm able to find that on the docs itself, because at the end of the day I will be going to the docs and I will be figuring the things out from there. My notes are just helpful for now, right? But at the end of the day, we should mainly be dependent on the docs rather than depending on the nodes, so we will figure it out. Neuralink building auto scaling orca structure. Yeah, we were just simply building that, and this is the overall command that we had. And what we do, coder.com, so ultimately we get the image from the coder.com. Ultimately we are going to be creating a container, and inside that particular container we will be running image of image of VS Code. So this coder.com gives me image of VS Code. Now the question is, how am I going to be getting the image of VS Code from here? VS Code desktop and browser only. Let me click on this as well. Browser only connections. No, this one. Let's click on VS Code desktop. You can install our extension manually in VS Code using command palette. Launch a VS Code blah blah blah. Not this one here. Extension this coder.com remote. Oh, this is not what I want. Using VS Code extension. coder.com. ये नहीं है भाई. Let's click on home. Coder provides AI development infrastructure for customizable workspaces, enabling builders and their AI coding agents to work side by side in secure, consistent environments. We can just simply install it anytime. About Coder developers, templates, admin, deployments, ecosystem they provide. These are the ecosystems that they provide. Not even this. There are gonna be many. I like the UI. Wow, like the navbar as well. Okay, coming back to this. This home doesn't provide anything. Okay, coming back to this about section. So IDE support, they support these many IDEs. The thing is that if I want to use them, how will I be using them? Code server, VS Code remote. Missing something. I do have the command. It's not like I don't have the command. I can just simply copy and paste. But as long as I don't have the exact idea where it's coming from and all. So having the command. Coming back to this does not work that way. Screenshots, quick start. Okay, so what am I supposed to be doing now? Looking for the right one, but not really getting that. In that case, I'm looking for a Docker command, proper Docker command, that I'm not getting. Any better way now? What better way? You are not even getting some way. You are looking for the better way. Docker, I think if I click on this and then I think got it. So Docker, you can install and run Coder using the official Docker images published on GitHub. Requirements: official Linux machine for Mac OS device, start Coder and all. 2 CPU they are required. Install Coder via Docker run. So Coder code server coder.com. So here it is. What am I doing? First of all, Docker run remove it coder home coder. So coder data, I'm just simply attaching the volume over here, binding the volume. So $coder data on the and coder config where run docker stack this group and then docker group gs whatever at the latest. For proof of concept deployments, you can run the complete coder instance with the following command: external databases recommended. So for the external databases, docker this and remove this coder access URL, and we can use the external databases over here. So ultimately whatever we save, that's gonna be saved externally. We can copy and paste these commands if I'm not wrong. Install previews, we do not recommend using preview installation. Okay, so that's fine. Let's see whether it works or not. Any better way? coder via docker compose, so we can do it using docker compose as well, and I think this is what that is. So docker compose ml file, what is this all about? So docker compose, it is just simply saying that image is going to be this, code is gonna be this, environment variable is gonna be this, and this way you can just simply go with this. And coming back to this particular section, so you can go with docker compose, you can go with install via docker, so you have to just simply copy this command. So let's give it a try. The command that I have, that is different from this one, but let's try it, why not? Coder com Ubuntu. I'm thirsty, I don't really have any water. Oh, I have some water, but the quality isn't good. Never mind. Coming back to this T3 micro, I'm gonna be using 2 CPU. Yeah, 2 CPU are required at least. So this one, VPN, AWS key, HTTP. I mean, they are not required, but let me allow in case they are. Launch the template. I mean, at least this thing is gonna be done. What is the next thing that I have to do? After that, if I go to this, export coder data, that's gonna be coder data is gonna be $home, everything inside the $home, and after that config coder v2. So ultimately this is the path, and after that export docker group, get and group docker this. After that mkdir, create recursive coder data. So ultimately mkdir recursively it will be creating. Okay, let me understand this first of all. Coder data contains what? Coder data contains the home / config / coder v2 docker. So this is the path. Then I'm generating that. So mkdir generates that. Okay, once that is generated, and then docker group is gonna be jetent group docker. I don't understand this, but hopefully this will be fine. And then docker run remove it iteration, and then $coder data, this is created on the local machine. So this will be referencing to this inside the container, that is right. So over, if we just make any changes inside the container, that will be saved here as well. Then where run docker sock, okay, group add docker group, it will be just simply grouping them somehow, and then this particular stuff. Okay, quite understandable. Let me do, but before even I run this, I need to install docker on my device, remote virtual device. So this has been created. Let me copy the URL from here, and let me go here, ls cd downloads ls, and sudo ssh into Vipendra. This is the private key name, Ubuntu @ this. Enter the password. Yes. ls. Right now, of course, there's nothing, so let me clear it. Sudo apt update. I can even upgrade it, but okay, never mind. Let me go here. Install docker in Ubuntu. Install docker Ubuntu, or I can just simply go with the installation of DigitalOcean. Ultimately they do the same job. Coming back to this one, DigitalOcean does what? As per DigitalOcean, I need to update it. Once updated, I need to first of all update it. I've already done. Then install few prerequisites. What a word! Prerequisites. Okay, prerequisites. Okay. So sudo apt install SAR certificates curl. Ultimately, these are the prerequisites that are needed for running Docker. So let me just simply install them. Just run it. What else? Then add a GPG key for official Docker repository to your system. So I'm gonna be just simply copying it. Yes. how long has it been? I didn't even check the time. Wow, great. So then add a GPG key for the official Docker repository to your system using the modern key method. Done. Add the Docker repository apt source. This command automatically detects your Ubuntu version. Thank you. Let me run it. And then sudo apt lets me update it again, and then I'm gonna be installing for sure. After that, apt cache policy, verify that you are about to install Docker repository instead of default Ubuntu repository. You don't need to do this much, by the way. You can just directly copy all the commands in one go, but for learning purpose I'm doing this. Then ultimately I'm gonna be installing this. Anything else? Docker systemctl status Docker, it will be just Docker should now be installed. The daemon is started and the process enabled. Start on boot. Check this. So ultimately I should be getting this. Let me just run it. Yes, of course. And oh, how long has it been, by the way? Let it just go on. It's been 1 hour and 50 minutes. Amazing job, yeah. Nothing could be better than this. Let me run this as well. And it is just simply saying that Docker service, Docker application container engine, loaded, and active status running, and then triggered by this docs. This is simply saying that process ID. I can even kill it, but okay. And sudo systemctl status Docker. It just simply tells me that. Okay, that's great. Ls, what is the next thing? The next thing is that coming back to this particular website, running this particular command, and hopefully it will do the job. Run it. Permission denied. Fine. Let me add sudo over here. Again, there are many commands. Sorry. Control Shift V. Oh, sorry. Home. Sudo. Then come back to the another command. This is another one. I will have to add sudo over here as well. Come back to the another command, add sudo over here as well, and lastly add sudo over here as well. Run it. Now it's gonna be pulling it. Let's see. I do have a proper command, exactly how it works and all, but I think this should be working. This has been provided by the overall even things are understandable, right? So yeah, I hope so that it's gonna be. Wow, globe. I just had a globe. So view the web UI. Amazing job. What? It's not loading, or it is loading. It is loading. Wait for a while. So we are running it on the EC2 machine. It is running on the EC2 machine. Continue with GitHub. Will I actually have to provide my credentials? Literally. Authenticating with GitHub. Copy your one-time password. Then open the link and paste it. Okay. Continue. Paste it here. Continue. Authorize color. Done. Done. You've authenticated. What will I be getting here? Don't know. And what is this even coder? I haven't even installed this on my device. I'm running it on my EC2 machine. That's another case. Okay. I need to explore this particular software well. I have command. Using that command, I can just simply run the image of VS Code directly. Hey, I think task Docker containers. View starter templates. Oh wow. Yeah, from here we should be able to get a whoa. So this provides the templates for all. Okay, got that. Docker. How can I get a all templates, all 17 templates? You know what I want? I'm not getting what I want. Templates. VS. I don't have VS Code. I'm gonna be using Docker here. Docker previous. Okay, fine. Your build has been in. What does this do? I mean, the command that I have in front of me, that's on my laptop, of course. So that does nothing but runs the image of VS Code, and that is available on some port and all. What does this do now? Hey. I'd better just know about it properly, and after that start messing with the things. Right now I have no idea. I'm just playing with the things like I'm the the most pro person ever, and in fact I don't have any idea about the things happening here. So let me do one thing. Let me click on this and let me just simply delete it. Honestly, don't have any idea exactly, but just a sec. I have this Docker container running. Inside this Docker container, can I run the image directly? Oh wow! Literally, can't I? VS. Okay, I can run JetBrains IDE each. How about copy code, create workspace? Just a sec. When I've reached this much, why not just a little further? These are mainly for what? These are mainly for PyCharm. Workspace name, my workspace. IntelliJ IDEA, PyCharm is mainly for Python if I'm not wrong. IntelliJ IDEA overall does the job. Create workspace. What will happen now? What will happen now? Wait, what is this used for? Is this used for creating what? It is doing something. Okay. Meanwhile, let me do one thing. I am gonna be running the code that I have. Like, I don't know what it will do. So I will create another instance, EC2 instance, and I will be running my main code over there. That I know will work for sure. So this is the container that is running. I will be deleting many machines as well. They are not even needed. Let's click on this, and this is gonna be VS Code. So VS Code CODE. And then I will be looking exactly from where can I get it, and what will I do after creating this? I will create its image, and once I have its image, after that, what will this code do? I will be even showing you the code. Just a minute. 2 CPU, 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabyte memory, and then select Vipendra, because I don't know whatever happening over there. I have no idea about that, so let's not worry about that. Let's simply click on launch instance, and now I have a code that I have to run inside a Docker file, and ultimately I have to create a Docker file, then I have to run that particular code, and when I'm actually running that particular code, after that I have to build the image. Look, the thing is that by default from the coder.com, ultimately whatever that is, we only get the image of VS Code, but that VS Code doesn't contain Node.js. So what we'll do, we'll get the image of VS Code, we'll get a Node.js, we'll build combine both of them, then we'll create a new image, and then we'll run that image. This is the plan right now. So let me get that thing done. So copy it, go to this particular section here. Ultimately I think this particular section, let me stop everything. As I'm stopping it, everything is gonna be stopped ultimately, and as everything is stopped, everything running on the wow, whoa, literally this is amazing. How I stopped it? I think I stopped it on the front end side, so this will be automatically stopped. Why did I do that? Yeah, I have stopped it. It's been stopped, right? Sorry. I should have checked it earlier. So history. lscd downloads. Okay, I'm already inside that. Sudo docker process status. This is still running. This hasn't stopped yet. Amazing job. If it hasn't stopped, that simply means if I click on this, reload the page, failed to I've stopped this, my bad. What is the next thing that I can do? Docker sudo docker images. I have these two images over here, and enterprise base image and all. And the thing is that my bad, I do call it my bad. I just simply stopped it. Otherwise, I would definitely be getting that. So what am I doing? I'm running the coder. I was running the coder.com on my EC2 machine. Okay, then I stopped that. That's another case. But I was just simply running that. The same way I can run it by installing that. Simply said, if I click on install, this is the command, and copy it, paste it here. Paste it here. Let's see what am I gonna be getting. So ultimately, what should it do? It should be installing coder web software, and that coder software should be able to run VS Code, everything, all these things directly on my device. Oh, probably. Okay, what is the next thing? To run this, start coder now on reboot, and on reboot sudo systemctl enable now coder, general ctl this, or just run coder serve. But I think right now, if I go here, coder, I don't have. Okay, right. Your self-hosted remote development platform encountered an error. Coder serve, see coder serve help. 3000 bind address already in use. I get it. Let me stop it. Come to this one. Let me restart it again. Using built a PostgreSQL home this, and I will be asked to log in, or won't I be? It is running on my localhost right now. Earlier I ran it on the EC2 machine, and right now I'm running it on my local machine. Wow, I mean, amazing. It just does the job directly. More things I will be exploring later, but ultimately, yeah, it's gonna be just giving me the same UI. Then I have to just simply create the workspace. Once I have created the workspace, from that workspace I should be able to use the VS Code directly, if I'm not wrong. But let's see what's gonna be happening. Again, this seems to be taking some time. The previous one was quite faster. As for this thing, I'm gonna be exploring it more tomorrow, not today. This is definitely taking quite a lot of time. Meanwhile, don't know what's gonna be happening with this. So notification manager started this, view the web UI. Opening this, you can disable this by passing no open. Okay, it is running on this. Fine, got it. Why is this taking this much time? It should be usually it should not take this much time. Close this, close this, close this as well. Not needed. Coming back to this particular section, the last thing that, okay, did I get that here? Yeah, I'm supposed to be signing up, but let's see what it returns. I'm gonna be getting it done really quick. it should not be taking a lot of time. The thing is that when I ran it on the EC2 machine, at that time it did not take that much time, like the processing didn't take that much time, but here on my local machine it is taking. That's crazy. Isn't my local machine as powerful as that EC2 machine was? No, no, but it is definitely taking time. Coming back to this, let me directly connect from here. It's no use connecting from here, so let me cancel. Let me just simply VS Code, right? Copy the IP address. Once the IP address is copied, let me come to this. I will SSH into the machine, and after that, what I have to do, I have to run the command ls cd downloads ls and sudo ssh into Vipendra Ubuntu @ this particular IP address. I'm gonna be inside that particular machine now. Yes, and now I'm inside the machine. Sudo apt update and all. Of course, I will have to install Docker if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I will have to do that. So let me do it really quick. Hopefully this is even done. Yeah, copy it, this, continue, paste it, continue, authorize, done. And this authentication should be done right now. Yeah, redirected, and then I will be redirected on the main page. Apart from this particular thing, I'm supposed to be doing this right now. Let me go to docker install Ubuntu. This time I'm gonna be having one command that will be just simply installing the Docker directly. So this is the first step. Let's simply copy everything, come back to this, let's simply paste everything here. That should be just simply installing the Docker directly instead of going through the things one by one. And the second one is just simply installing that, and that's it. Then sudo system status docker. I will be checking the status as well. It's gonna be pretty quick. The last time I was going through the things one by one. This time I'm just simply getting them done in one go. Let's simply install the Docker, and once the Docker is actually installed, then I'm gonna be checking the status. So sudo systemctl status docker, something like this. Sudo systemctl status docker. Yeah, and then sudo systemctl start docker. Sudo systemctl status docker. So this is the status of the Docker. I have that installed. Let me close this. Sudo systemctl start docker. What does this command do? Some systems may have this behavior disabled, will require manual start. Okay, restarting that manually, that doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day that is started. Okay, so we don't really need to worry about it. Let's simply clear it now. What is the next thing? The next thing is that ls I'm inside my EC2 machine, and once I'm inside my EC2 machine, let me create a folder mkdir, and that's gonna be VS Code and a cd VS Code. Inside this I will be doing what? I will create a touch even better vi sudo vi docker file. This is the Docker file that I'm creating, and what will I do here? Once I'm inside this particular file, so first of all I will get what? I will get image of coder.com. so coder.com / code server version is gonna be 4.96. again I'm just simply copying the code. So this much is done. So from coder.com I'm just simply getting this. This is the, I think, code server is nothing but VS Code if I'm not wrong. So this is how it's gonna be going ahead. And once I got this, after that I'm gonna be converting the, I'm gonna be what? User root. User will have the root permission over here because I'm gonna be installing the things and all. So I'm gonna be giving the user to the root permission, and after that I'm gonna be running some commands. Apt get update. Again it will be updating, and once it has updated, what is the next thing? The next thing is gonna be end apt get install y curl. What it does, it simply installs, and y in the sense yes for all, and it will be installing using curl. And what all will it be installing? It will be installing curl fs sl https deb, it will be installing node.js ultimately. So deb dot node source.com slash setup, again 22x bash. Hopefully I'm writing, let me do one thing, I'm not even sure whether I'm writing the code the right way. So I'm gonna be copying everything and I will then explain everything. Okay, this way would be the best thing, and this bit will not even take a lot of time. Control C, Control Shift V. So here it is. So what is this all about? Let me start it from the beginning. So first of all, I'm getting the image of what? I'm getting the image of coder server, and again I will be digging deeper into it tomorrow. So first of all, I'm getting the image of it. After that, I'm changing the permission over here. So user is gonna be having the root permission, so that I can just simply install the things. So first of all, I'm updating everything. Once updated, I'm just simply making sure that whenever I'm installing, if it asks for yes, I'm just simply saying yes by default. And after that, I'm gonna be installing a node version. Node.js is going to be installed ultimately. First of all, source is installed, and after that version is node is installed, and then I'm just simply cleaning everything. And once everything is cleaned, I'm just simply deleting all the unnecessary files. After that, the user is gonna be coder again, and after that I'm gonna be exposing it on 8080 port. And lastly, I'm gonna be running it. I'm gonna be creating these folders recursively. P stands for recursively. That simply means the first of all temp will be created, then Bolty worker will be created. This is how it's gonna be going on. And even better, VS code the, so coder temp and the coder will be created, and I'm gonna be running code server, and auth is gonna be none, bind is gonna be, it will be binding to 8080 port, and the path should be coder right now, just like this. And that is it. I'm gonna be just saving it. So click escape and WQ, it will be saved. Cat docker file. So this is the code that you are getting. So ultimately what you are doing, you are getting the coder image. Once you got the coder image, and after that you are installing the node over here. Once you install the node over here, then you are just simply creating the the temp coder, and then you are simply specifying that whenever I'm gonna be running it, at that time I'm gonna be running it without any authentication, binding it to the 8080 port, and this is the temp coder kind of file. Okay, folder name. Okay, so this much you have specified. Now using this docker configuration, you will be creating a new image, and that new image will contain this particular image and the node that you installed, and the folder that you are creating inside this. So ultimately it will contain all these things. Okay, so let me create the image. So I'm just simply gonna say one thing, docker build. I will have to give it some tag. What is gonna be the tag? Tag can be anything. So let me call it VS code. That's the one, and everything in the current directory. Simple. So docker build VS code. VS code is nothing but a tag, and whatever I have in the current directory, that I have the docker file. Let me even show that ls. So I have the docker file. So whatever I have in the current directory, I'm gonna be just simply running that. So docker, let me use sudo over here. So sudo docker build, the tag is gonna be VS code, name can be anything, completely up to you. And in the current directory, the image is going to be built, and once image is built, then I will be just simply running that. Okay, so it's like I have an image and I'm installing some packages. Now combining the image, combining the packages, I'm creating a new image, and then I'm gonna be running that particular image. It's just like that. You can create your own image, can't you? It's gonna be taking some time. Meanwhile, let me check this. Oh, coming back to this. Yeah, here I am. I'm gonna be creating a new template here. View starter template. That should be mainly inside inside I'm gonna be using docker container here, and save it. It will be created now. There are many things to explore, so I will be exploring them one by one. Coming back to this, how many things have happened here. Image is about to be created. Okay, that's fine. And once that is done, then I'm gonna be just simply running the image and nothing else. So once this much is done, docker image, sudo docker image. So this is the image that I have, and after that docker run, I'm gonna be running this VS Code image that I have created, and after that I'm gonna be running it on port. So first of all, let me specify the port number as well. So it will be running on port 8080 on the container, and I'm gonna be like it runs on 8080 port on the container, and I'm gonna be mapping it to the 8080 port of my local device. And what else? Let me have this mapping as well, that I don't need to have this mapping if I'm specifying it there. No, I need to have this mapping here. So inside this, what I did, I created the folder inside there, so I need to have the mapping as well, right? I don't think so directly it should be working, don't you think so? Because you created the folder here, so once you created that, you don't need to do the mapping on your own. Rather, the folder got created, and as the folder got created, whenever this particular file ran, so yeah, it should be fine. Let's simply run it. VS Code. Permission denied. Amazing. This should be sudo. I was supposed to be running it in the detached mode, but at the end of the day, it is running. Okay, let me go here, open it, reload it, and it turns out that I'm not getting that. I will have to just simply set the inbound rules and all, and then it will start working. That's okay, not a big problem. Let me first of all stop this. Sudo docker process status a. Arey bhai, a. And this was the state. I'm gonna be stopping it or removing it. So docker sudo docker kill. I'm gonna be killing VS Code. Can't kill that. Remove. Docker process status for all. I'm still getting that. Docker sudo docker remove. I'm gonna be removing this docker process state. Okay, that must have been removed right now. So sudo docker process status for all. So that has been removed. What will I be doing next? Docker run. But before even that, sudo docker run on port 8080 on the local machine, which will be running on port 8080 on the container. It will be running in the detached mode and VS Code. Oh, sorry. Okay, now it's running. Docker process status more above. Sudo docker process status. Now it is running. That simply means if I go to this particular URL, so localhost 3000, no, 8080. I'm not getting anything here. That simply means the inbound rule is not set. So let me go to security. Lizard, I'm saying. I'll have to add the security group over here. And what will that security group be? Edit inbound security group, and that would be custom on 8080 port. It will be from anywhere. So let me save it. Once it has been saved, coming back to this particular thing, let me reload the page. And wait, I should be getting it, yeah. I should be getting it. I've added the security group details on port reload it, custom TCP 8080. Okay, this should be coming from anywhere. Save it. Done, I think. Rules will source allow and blah blah blah. custom TCP, remove it here. First of all, let me add a new one. This will be on 8080 port. Let me add this anywhere. Let me save the rule. Once this is saved, let me go here, let me reload the page. Okay, definitely missing something. Custom TCP 8080 port from anywhere. Manage. Save it. Forget about this. Save it from anywhere. Custom TCP. Overall it should be working. I don't know why it's not working. This is the TCP TCP one, right? TCP, yeah. You have not made any changes, so it is just simply saying that you have not made any changes, and because of that thing you are not able to change that. That's okay. But once we have done this much thing, so this thing is running on port 8080. So if I go to this localhost port 8080, or if I go here, cut it from here, come back here, paste it over here, it turns out somehow I'm not getting that. What am I missing? I'm running it, I'm enabling the request at port 8080, the request is enabled, something is missing. Okay, by the way, how long has it been? It's been 11 o'clock or something. Let me call it here. I mean, one more thing is remaining. This thing. Error pinging server, please make sure this on, then this. I think I have stopped it or what? Notification provision Ubuntu. Let me go through all these things tomorrow. I mean, I will explore this thing well. Not really big problem. Again, I have quite a lot to do. Even for some reason, it is just simply I'm facing the issues. Ultimately, what's gonna be the goal of tomorrow? First of all, we have to just simply know more about this coder. We have to fix this error, like this particular thing. Though I have this EC2 machine running, this one, but for some reason, I'm not able to. Oh, how will I able to? Am I crazy? I need to get the IP address. Sorry. IP address. I'm running it on my EC2 machine. I was trying to access it on localhost. Amazing job. Here I am. At last I figured it out. This theme. अरे भाई इतना नहीं. Let me change the theme to color theme to dark mode. Yeah, here we are. And now can I write any some code inside this? Let me check. ls mkdir src cd src touch index.js node version. So clg, not clg, console.log, hi there, just like this. And if I run ls node index.js, I'm gonna be getting hi there. Can I install some of the extensions? JavaScript. So tomorrow let's try to create load balancer for this. So that's work, kind of a lot of work. JavaScript. I don't have many extensions available here. Whichever I have, let me simply install them. Yes. Alrighty, overall things are done. Great job. We have even installed this. What else could be better than this? If I just CLG over, now we are getting the things. And ultimately this way we can add the code here as well. So that's what I actually wanted to do. You can just configure it even more. And the thing is that all of this is running on the EC2 machine, as simple as that. So whatever we save here, that will be saved in the EC2 machine. So tomorrow we'll be just creating load balancer, not load balancer actually, auto scaling group, so that we can have as many virtual machines as we as many EC2 machines as we want, and they will be running the VS code. And in this way I will be able to assign it to the people and all. So this is how the goal is. All these things are gonna be happening tomorrow, and for now I'm gonna be selecting both of them, and I'm gonna be just simply stopping the instances. Having said that, I actually have a lot of instances that are not running, so tomorrow I will be deleting some of them as well. And that is it. So thank you everybody. What? I'm fumbling. Thank you very much everybody. That was it today. Now I'm gonna be catching up tomorrow. Until then, take care. It's already pretty quite late, right? It's 11 o'clock or something. I need to sleep. Bye bye, take care. I'm gonna be catching up tomorrow. Until then, take care, bye bye, and see you. Keep up the good work, keep coding. Bye bye.